Ready?
Hello and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, the video game music podcast. This is episode 4-1, and we're your hosts, Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
And on this show, we listen to great video game music of the past and the present, and we talk about it, we hang out, and we have a good time.
And hopefully you, the listener, gets a kick out of the ridiculous and random tracks we may or may not come up with. I don't know.
So this is actually our 31st episode. We're really excited to celebrate our, I guess, like fourth season.
And we're really bad at math.
Bad at math. Our fourth season of Rhythm and Pixels. We are celebrating with some guests. Our, I guess, our Brothers in Arms podcast, the Pixel Tunes Radio. We have Mike and Ed. Hey, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
So tell us a little bit about your show and what you guys do.
Well, we do a video game music podcast, very similar to you guys, and we talk about video games and video game music.
That's pretty much it. We also do some comedy sketches here and there. We like to delve a lot into like the composers' histories, like kind of give a little bit about their biographies and stuff. So we're kind of like, we consider ourselves like video game music historians almost. But we do what you guys do. We pick a lot of cool video game music and we talk about it too.
Yeah, the show's goofy, it's got a lot of humor, and we try to keep it fresh and interesting, and try to give you as much information as possible, too. So it's kind of like a edutainment, but in the video game music aspect.
Yeah, I really
So
enjoyed the show.
your show is equivalent to the Mario was missing line.
God. Except a little bit higher quality, hopefully.
Okay, so we'll go with some Carmen
lower
Sandiego
quality.
love here then.
So it's where in the world is Pixel Tunes Radio?
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
Yes, minus the acapella stuff.
Yeah. Well, only on Sundays.
Hey, man, we're talking.
So yeah, I kind of got in touch with Ed through I kind of just gave a shout out in a few episodes about the your other show that Ed is involved with called the Impulse Project, which is all about
Yes.
demo scene music from like the 90s and the 80s, and it's rad. That's the right word for it. The music is so
Thank you.
rad. I love it. It takes me back to like my my teenage days and just how much I loved computer music back then. And what got me interested was the demo scene and trackers. So listening to it is like just a huge time warp for me. And also realizing how the music composed during that time kind of lived side by side with video game music at that time too.
Yeah, and a lot of the guys that wrote video game music also wrote demo scene music, so the two genres overlap a heck of a lot. So it's kind of nice that I have both of these shows and I can kind of connect those dots between the demo scene and the video game music scene.
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, I have a question though, because like I noticed that a lot of the Western composers, especially like the Tim Follins and what's his name, Matt Furness, like a lot of them, they have like this really specific sound that also sounds like stuff that I've heard in demo scene music. Is that did they have like a connection?
Oh yeah, it's all born from the limited capabilities that the C64 and the ZX Spectrum, those guys grew up on that, on those systems, and they only had like 2 or 3 channels to work with, so they had to develop those really quick arpeggios that you find in a lot of the Western composers' music. And so when they started developing games for the NES, they took all that they learned from those systems and kind of brought it into the NES. So that's why you hear a lot of that really fast arpeggio stuff, and that's what's like the Western composer trademark sound on those games.
Yeah, the Japanese scene is a little different. I would say it's more influenced by other types of genres of music, and even music that was coming out at the time, like late 80s, early 90s. So a lot of that new, I don't want to say newer, but newer than like the ZX Spectrum and things like that.
Well, they had FM in Japan, so they didn't need to do all that arpeggio stuff because they worked on the Genesis and all that stuff that already had FM.
That's
true story.
No,
It was there.
I think it's great. I was like, I finally got you guys, to talk to you about that stuff. So I really wanted to understand a little bit more. So I'm happy I got the chance to do that. So today's episode is all about the number 4.
A very baffling topic, yet also one that was very intriguing. It was posed by our new friends here, and I immediately started coming up with ways to game the system. So Like, when you came up with the number 4, let the fans know, what was your intention for the 4? What was 4 representing?
Well, I thought that it was really cool that you guys do episodes based like they were video game levels, like 1-1, 1-2, 1-3. For like every 10th episode, you go up a level. So I was like, well, we're starting a brand new level, 4-1. Why don't we pick video game music from the 4th level of video games? I just thought it was something cool to like focus on and kind of celebrate your 4th season. Yeah, so or actually third season, right? Because you started on 1. So this is going into the 4th season.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be funny. Maybe when we get to like level 4, like 5-1, we'll go like the minus world or something. Like,
yeah, we'll have
-1.
Maybe if we have like a some mixtape type things, we might release on a podcast.
There you go.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool. What was I going to say? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. That's great radio. So we usually start off with Pernell, but I thought we'd let you guys start off. So I know that each of you picked a track, so why don't you just
lost you.
Pick? Oh,
hello,
are you there? Can you hear me,
guys?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Now we're here.
We're back. We're back. Am I good?
Yeah. You're kind of cutting in and out again.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Tester.
On this end, it sounds fine.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So, guys, what's your first track?
Well, our first track is going to be from the NES, from the NES game Ninja Gaiden 3, the Ancient Temple of Doom.
Nice.
And we're going to go with Act 4, Level 1, or Part 1.
It matches.
We did our job, yay!
All right, look at that. All right, and we're back. You are listening to Stage 4-1, the Inverted Catwalk from Ninja Gaiden 3, the Ancient Ship of Doom, the best ship of doom, from the NES by Hiroshi Miyazaki, Kaori Nakabai, and Rika Shigeno. So, why did you guys pick this track? What do you love about the Ninja Gaiden 3?
Ninja Gaiden 3 is a great game. I mean, I've not had as much experience with it as I have the first two, but I think it's an overall really solid Ninja Gaiden game. It's a little floaty in terms of gameplay. It's a little different than Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2. I felt like those games were a little bit tighter. For the track itself, it's just a very uplifting, like, you can do it kind of Japanese action song. So,
which is hilarious because this is the level I kind of stopped on my 3DS replay of it because I downloaded it from the store. And I remembered this track. I'm like, wait a minute, I think this plays on stage 6. And it does, which is also a catwalk because that part is an absolute pain in the butt with the wind blowing and cannon.
Yes. Yeah, the game is notoriously difficult in the US because I guess the second game, US fans complained and thought it was too easy. And so for the release, they were like, all right, well, forget you guys, we're going to make it difficult. So they made enemies do more damage upon each hit. And on top of that, they only gave you, like, I think 5 continues or something like that. Whereas on the Famicom version, it's just like the first 2 games where there's unlimited continues and the guys take regular damage.
Yeah, so you got to be a beast to get through this game.
I did not know that.
That's rough stuff, man.
It's pretty brutal.
I did beat it as a kid on rentals, though. I can say that. But
That's impressive.
That's impressive.
for me, the hardest one was, I don't know why exactly, but the first one's still the hardest one for me of all of them.
Yeah, the first one's brutally hard.
And it's all about that last stage, though. It's all there. Jack,
But the music keeps you going, man. It's I think I really like those heavy, like, sampled snares. They keep those songs in the game just pushing along and making you kill those ninjas.
Yeah, the
faster and
Tecmo,
faster.
the drums on the Tecmo music games are it Technos or Tecmo?
Tecmo.
Yeah, I love the drum
Yeah.
samples they use. It's always like, it's not quite like the Konami ones they use. It's just a little bit punchier, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right. So Pernell, let's move it over to you. You've got a handful of tracks that you brought over to me. So why don't you grab one out of the track bag?
I'm just going to reach in here real deep and clamber about and start a little light. Who am I kidding? I don't do light. Contra 4,
Oh,
Stage 4, the Harbor Stage.
Nice.
I was very much about that number 4.
all right. Let's give it a listen.
Welcome back. You're jamming to Stage 4 for Contra 4, the Harbor level. Is all right. And it's a fantastic track for a violently brutal game by our friends at Way Forward Technologies. I know you're thinking Konami, I've been drinking caffeine. I know you've been thinking Konami, but no. Way Forward apparently did the work, and Konami did the publishing of the product.
And the composer?
Hey, if you're going to sign a game over to anybody, it's going to be Way Forward. So those guys
You
are
better
awesome.
believe it. And the composer for this bad boy is our good friend Vert, Jake Kaufman.
Love that guy.
I don't think he's ever done a bad track in his entire life. Prove us wrong if
That
you
might
did.
be true.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. Like, it's amazing. Like, I don't know. Like, when I first met him, he was doing a show. He's doing a concert at Magfest, and he didn't even have like a pedigree at the time. He was just a guy who I like game music, so I like to kind of like tweak around with it a bit, do. And he came down to our old tiny show, and then out of nowhere, boom, he got hooked up with Way Forward, and
Jake Kaufman was at the first MagFest?
yep. Surprisingly enough, at the time, I had no clue who he was, but Joe, who was the founder, I guess he found him as a guest to bring on, and he did. And at the time, he was just like a regular guy. He's like, I like video game music. Watch me remix it and stuff. And of course, now he's doing music for all these games. So whenever I hear him, I'm like, oh my god, that guy is awesome. I remember back when I had no clue who he was, and I looked at him. I was like, all right, you should just stand over there because you're in my way. But now he's freaking awesome, and I love every track he's ever put out. And he put some fantastic beats to Contra 4. Which is good because the game is punishingly brutal with its 2-screen dynamic. You'll be hearing his music a lot as you die over and over and over again. But it's worth every death that you get because it felt like a forgotten series when that title came out, actually, because it was a long way between Contra 3 and even like at the time, I think the last release was Shattered Soldier.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So it was a complete shock to hear Contra 4 get brought up.
Yeah, Shattered Soldier had just such a great soundtrack. That's one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Yes. And then after that actually was Neo Contra, which was a little bit more like dancey. I believe that track, I believe Akira Yamaoka did that, or it was...
Yeah, well, he worked on Shattered Soldier was Akira Yamaoka.
Right.
And those tracks were beasts. And it sounds they definitely have his style, non-creepy style, mind you, the other more rockabond style.
Yeah, like techno rock.
And for the record, the best track on that game was From the Ocean to the Sea. Just want to point that out. From the Sky to the Ocean. Best track in the game.
Is that the one we played on our episode?
We probably did,
so,
because if I pick a track from that game, it's going to be that one. And that's it. So the entire level is a fight with one robot, and I really don't care. It's worth it.
So do you guys have a favorite Jake Kaufman track?
Oh God!
Oh man, that's tough.
Or just one that comes to your mind.
Well, the episode that we just put out, actually, our Summer Jams episode, the track we led off with was from Shantae.
Shantae and the Pirates Curse.
And we did, what was it? Sunburn?
Scorched Sands.
Scorching Sands? Yeah, Sunburn Island.
Actually,
and that was an amazing track. I love that one.
Such a great song.
Actually, I got a good Jake Kaufman-based question for you. This will be a good one to delve into your personalities, too.
All right.
What is your favorite mixtape on Double Dragon Neon? If you put yes,
that's a good one. Oh man, I'm trying to think. See, the only thing I ever remember from that soundtrack is Mango Tango.
Mango Tango.
Oh my God! My friend Rex hears this up. He's going to snap because we fight about that all the time. He's like, "That's the only track worth remembering is Mango Tango." And I'm like, "No, it's not. There's Countryside. It's a good song."
There's some other really good stuff. It's just Mango Tango is definitely the track that I walk away with. I really like that one that's it's like Automatic Dance or something. It's like, here's a lesson from the Automatic Dance.
Oh yeah, that was great.
That one?
Yeah.
That was
I really
a good
like
one.
that one. The song that sounds pretty much like Depeche Mode, that one's really good. Yeah, those are the two that I really remember.
Sweet. Okay, you guys passed the Pernell test.
Pernell test.
You're all right with me.
We call it the Pernell test because I always mess up his name on my phone, so it ends up Pernell instead of Pernell.
I actually thought that you said Pringles at first, and I was like, that's not his name.
He's my favorite.
Yeah.
It could be.
Sour cream and onion.
He usually has chips on the show, but... All right, so I'm going to take us out of the incredibly hard, punishing, super tight action side-scrollers into a different kind of side-scroller. So I chose all Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive tracks because that's all I wanted to listen to this past week. Nice. And I found some music. I looked for composers and for publishers that I really liked, and I ended up finding this amazing track. This is Stage 4, The Magical Moon, from the game McDonald's Treasureland Adventure for the Sega Genesis. Yeah, you are listening to Stage 4, The Magical Moon, from the game McDonald's Treasure Lane Adventure for the Sega Genesis, developed and published by Treasure by Katsuhiko Suzuki.
You always find these tracks, by the way. I just want to point that out. That nobody would have thought to go, you know what I want to listen to today? McDonald's Treasure Land Adventure. And then you go.
Well, I saw Treasure on it, and then I saw Katsuhiko Suzuki, which I remember that name from somewhere, and I was like, I gotta listen to it. And we're only doing Stage 4 music, right? So I was like,
It was an easy set, yeah.
Just check it out, Stage 4. And I was like, what? It's got the this kind of glitched out opening, and this whole little melody section. It just sounds so amazing. Now there's 2 parts to the track. I'm assuming in the stage there's 2 halves to the stage, and it's just the same song but sped up. And I liked it at this kind of slower pace. It's just got maybe like a late 80s, kind of early 90s, like breakdance kind of jam to it.
I've been pop locking over here since the track started.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of got some breakdance going on by Pernell.
The track is very reminiscent of the electro era for electro music.
Yes, early electro.
You mentioned pop and lock. Like, all I can hear is like Africa Bambaataa, like Nucleus type stuff.
Yeah, totally. Like the early electro like type sound where it's like a lot of 909 like kind of heavier drums, and like really
exactly
big synth stabs. Like back when that was really cool.
Sounds really violent for a musical era. Then.
Stabbing and popping and locking you up and stabbing you.
Electro stabs gives you a jolt.
Treasure Land Adventure.
What happened to Ronald?
The less you know, the better.
It's like the Hamburglar broke out again.
I'm more like the Grimace. Nothing can stop that guy.
Yeah, Katsuhiko Suzuki also did music for Silhouette Mirage, which is another Treasure classic.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Treasure guy, so he's ex-Konami.
That might be where you recognize the name then.
Yeah, that's where I saw it.
Yep. And believe it or not, we actually played this exact track on our show. We had a guest on a YouTuber by the name of Matt Ezro, the LJN Defender, and he brought this track with him to our show, and he introduced us to it, and we fell in love with it.
Oh my God, wow.
We're like, it's awesome that you guys picked it for this show.
Now, before we change topics here, I got to go back to that. There's a guy that goes by the LJN Defender. I'm assuming he likes Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street game?
Yeah.
Absolutely, you got him nailed. He basically does in-depth reviews of like all the really like garbagey LJN games and tries to figure out whether they're actually just, whether they're worth playing or not. And a lot of them he finds really good ways to like make you want to play these games, believe it or not.
Huh. Interesting. I need to go back at least for the Friday the 13th episode because I tried to play that something fierce and I love the game, but it really wasn't happening as far as actually doing anything worthwhile in it.
Yeah, no. Check his review of it out because it'll give you like new insight into how to play that game. He's really good at that stuff.
His review is almost a walkthrough in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
My last exposure to that was watching Awesome Games Done Quick and seeing a speed run of it, and it was funny, but I didn't know what was going on because half the time they're just blowing through the game, like just ignoring everything you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's like they already know what to do, so you don't have to worry about the plot elements of the game. You just go from place to place. So that's not a good way to learn how to play a game.
No, but it's entertaining.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I think we're going around one more time. So what's your next track?
Beautiful. I picked, this is from Sega Rally Championship for the Saturn. It's Stage 4 Lakeside.
back. You are listening to Sega Rally Championship for the Sega Saturn. This is the song Ignition, which is for the stage of Lakeside. All right, so why did you what was your what's the story behind picking the song from Sega Rally?
Well, Sega Rally Championship was one of these Saturn games that I grew up with. I only had maybe like half a dozen Saturn games to my name. Sega Rally was the game that I just like played over and over and over again and completely mastered. And it's kind of a special fourth stage because you can play the arcade mode where you play the stages in order, but then you can also do the practice mode, so you can practice individual stages and do multiple laps on them. But you could only play this fourth stage if you are good enough to beat all of the three first stages in the arcade mode. So like when you got to Lakeside, it was like a special thing because you knew that you were good enough to beat that really, really tight clock. And so this music was always something special for me because it sounds so good, it's so jazzy, and you never really got to hear it unless you were good enough to, like, you had to deserve this music. So
it was the sound of triumph.
That's why I wanted to pick it.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Knowing that this song means more to you because you had to put in the work just to get to it.
Yeah, it's got a real Miami Sound Machine feel as far as the track itself goes. Really like kind of samba-esque. For the composers, Naofumi Hataya, he was actually the arranger, and the track for the arcade version was composed by Takanobu Mitsuyoshi, who you guys may know is the composer of the illustrious Daytona USA soundtrack, which is one of Ed's favorite soundtracks.
Oh yeah, he's being very sarcastic.
Okay,
there.
I was like, oh really? That's awesome. Great guys.
I mean, I love the Daytona soundtrack. I think it's just cheesy, awesome, like jazz rock, but you know, Ed's not so much.
I have a love-hate relationship with Takanobu Mitsuyoshi. I think he's a fantastic composer, but when he sings over music, I can't. I just can't do it.
Well, I
It's
got to
just
ask
so
you this
cheesy.
then as a follow-up to that. What do you think of the Rage Racer soundtrack?
Oh, I love anything that like Shinji Hosoe does. Like I love the Ridge Racer Revolution. All those soundtracks are amazing.
This guy right here. All right. You're all right, man. You haven't had a bad set yet.
So what I'm trying to figure out is I hear this music and I think racing. This is racing music, but like, what makes it a racing song? Like, why does my brain immediately think this is racing music? Like, if you go to like a racetrack, it's going to be loud and people are yelling and screaming and there's engines. But like, what happens? Do you get in the car and suddenly it's like jazzy Miami Sound Machine, Gloria Estefan, like getting down? Like,
I think it sounds a lot like the Outrun series. Like Sega has a particular type of music they play with their racing games, and I think your brain might be harkening back to like the older, Genesis and arcade racing games because I think that sounds a lot like this one.
Yeah, like Outrun, Virtual Racing.
Put the top down, put your shades on, and just hit the road.
yeah, what's that Outrun track with the waves going on in it? That's so good.
It's a magical sound shower.
Yeah, I love that song, man.
That's really funny that we're talking about that because we just played that on our summer episode, our Summer Jams episode, and it was the same thing. It was like, we wanted to go for tracks that you could just like throw the top down and like drive around to our episode. So it's kind of funny that we all brought
Hitting
that
on the
up.
same stuff.
Yeah, this
it's totally. This song's got that summer vibe too. So that is super summer vibe.
definitely. Yeah,
Super
we should
Summer.
have picked this one.
Great minds think alike,
Super Summer 64. All right, Pernell. I got a few tracks here. Which one are you going to choose?
All right, I'm going to keep this summer vibe going.
Okay, I'm a little worried about that.
Well, actually, to put it as a funny joke, I'm going to have to say this, but I'm not going to pick this track until the end of the episode. But the track I was going to play here was selected because it was track number 4 on the official OST. So that's what I meant when I was like going for number 4 and stretching it a bit.
Oh, that's fine.
But this track, again, to keep it with the summer vibe, I'm going to go with Gate of Thunder, Stage 4,
Nice.
bass. Because nothing
Awesome.
says summer like space. I don't know, but
Spacey Summer.
oh yeah.
It's a hot track though, so.
Yes, it is. And welcome back. You are jamming out to Stage 4 from the game Gate of Thunder, composed by the group only known by T's Music. I don't know. I mean, I did a little bit of research. There was different names that popped up alongside T's Music.
We played some music from Lords of Thunder, which was the same composer we know, and I think I promised at the time to do more research. And I did not do that.
Or maybe you did, but it's been a while and you just plumb forgot.
No.
T's Music are they're like VGM mercenaries. I think we referred to them on our show. It's just like this collective of ever-changing composers that other companies would kind of hire out to do their music, and they've worked on stuff like Wampum on the NES and all sorts of games, just all throughout the 8-bit era, the 16-bit era. Then they started getting into hard rock when they started doing the CD-based games.
Yeah, they worked on Final Fight CD, Bonk's Adventure for the NES, Felix the Cat for the Game Boy and the NES, Bonk's Adventure for the Game Boy, Outrun on the Genesis. Pedigree. They worked on a lot of stuff, and there's a large list of people who have been associated with T's Music. So
it's like 24 people. Or
oh
something.
yeah, it's crazy.
Oh wow.
Well, one specific name that I seem to have come across while doing the search was Nick Wood. So he might well have been the guy from the group that did it, but it's hard to say.
Would you say this sounds a lot like Lords of Thunder?
Yeah, not as it's just a different type of rock sound, but yeah, they're both definitely rock sounding games. But like I said earlier, this definitely says summer to me.
Yeah,
we're talking Martians on asteroids floating through space with their blankets out, catching some solar rays.
I get a space vibe, but more like a Cowboy Bebop kind of space vibe from this track.
Oh yeah,
I can see that too.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes your feet tap. That's for darn sure. This is the kind of music that could get me to come back to a game over and over again, even after I've already completed it. Preferably a short game, of course, because 60-hour games multiple times in a row just ain't happening anymore. But as a shmup, oh yeah, I'll come back down to Base Town. Never mind that. So
there's this really subtle saxophone. I don't know if you guys heard it, but it's really subtle, kind of hanging on in the background.
So the was like,
yeah, it's almost like at the same. It fits right in with the guitar, so closely, but you can tell it's there, and I really like that. That's a good catch.
I felt like Jake and Elwood from the Blues Brothers were hanging out with Eddie Van Halen and making this track.
So definitely a possibility.
So this is a shoot 'em up, but is it related to Lords of Thunder at all? For now.
No, the only thing they have in common is there's a lot of thunder involved.
Okay, cool.
I believe they're both published, at least, by Hudson Soft.
Oh, publisher and all, yeah, Hudson and Red.
Yeah.
But as far as game themes and stuff go, the only thing that's in common is the thunder.
They're both thunderous games. I like that.
Oh yeah.
Actually, Lords of Thunder is a sequel to Gate of Thunder, so there you go.
Yeah, but there's spiritual sequels. It's not a direct universe sequel.
Right.
Exactly. I'm saying that's exactly is they had there's basically Lords of Thunder, the sequel to Gate, but you wouldn't say start Lords of Thunder and be like, okay, the secret is the ship actually became sentient and became the main character of Lords of Thunder.
Wait, so it's Lords plural, but Gate singular.
Yeah, he goes through the gate and becomes a lord.
I guess that makes sense because there wouldn't be multiple gates, right? It would just be Lord. I think I'm thinking about this way too much.
That's it. He goes through the gate and he splits into 4 armors. And then the Lord of Thunder wears the ship that came through the gate. It empowers him. That's how the game works. We just came up with the link, guys.
That's the best piece of headcanon I've ever heard.
Yes.
If we could, we'll figure it out on the show. We can totally do it. All right. So my second track I chose from a shoot 'em up from the Sega Genesis. Though this is Glay Lancer. Actually, the full title is a long one. I totally lost it, and it's right in front of me now. It's Advanced Buster Hawk Glay Lancer for the Sega Genesis. This is Stage 4, Bass Interior. Okay, and we are back. You are listening to Stage 4, the bass interior from Advanced Buster Hawk Glay Lancer for the Sega Genesis by Masanori Mikichi and Noriyuki Iwadare.
What a name.
I want to give a shout out to Wask, one of our Twitter followers, just pointed me in the direction of this soundtrack, and I just listened to it start to finish at my desk at work, and I was like, this is rocking. I love Noriyuki Iwadare, and I love the Genesis sound, so this track is just awesome. You were talking about a horse gallop, right?
Cyber horse racing. Like there's an adventurous cyber horse race going on right now. The guy is riding through. I'm not sure why he's doing it, but he's going really fast, and he's being shot at from the sky with slingshots and all sorts of AK-39s. It is ridiculous.
It's like he's going through like a black hole, you know. I think like this is like the adventure section, and at the very, very end, he's like just getting shot right out, and his horse is just going.
Oh, it's a rocket horse. He becomes a rocket horse.
Cyber horse, Glay Lancer.
I can dig it. Only thing that'd be better if it was Justin riding the horse.
Yeah, there are so many good shoot 'em ups on the Sega Genesis, and I haven't got a chance to play this one, but the gameplay and it looks really intense, and I really like the really difficult like side-scrolling style. It has like an R-Type kind of feel to it.
Have you guys heard of this game before too?
Yeah, Glay Lancer, I think it's only available in Japan. I've seen like reproduction carts that you can get, like they have some at our local retro game shop, but even like the reproduction carts are going for like $60, $70, so it's really hard to get your hands on.
Oh man, well that might be kind of difficult then. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was Mega Drive only or not. Yeah, because I saw like reproduction like things of it, which just made things even more confusing for me. But yeah, the name Buster Hawk, I thought that was really cool. I was trying to think of like other titles, so it'd be like Pernell, Thunder Pigeon.
Perfect.
What?
There you go.
Yeah, I like that.
Then again, maybe I could be considered a misleading battle name. I could be Thunder Pigeon.
Or Fire Sparkler.
I'd stick with Thunder Pigeon. I want people to think I'm a flying rat with a rocket thunderous punch that will send you soaring.
Are you talking about? Isn't
when
that
you underestimate?
Pernell Rocket Knight?
That's rocket. It's Thunder Pigeon. Thunder Pigeon.
Thunder Pigeon.
Thunder Pigeon.
Thunder Pigeon.
Can I be Typhoon Sparrow?
Typhoon Sparrow. I like this.
I think we got a team forming.
Now, Mike, what are you going to be?
Boomer Kuunger? No.
No.
Blazing Peacock.
So you mentioned galloping bass, and that's kind of my bread and butter. I talk about it a lot on the podcast that we do. Galloping bass is a signature sound that a lot of like NWO BHM heavy metal bands and bands like Iron Maiden and power metal bands use. So galloping bass is used pretty prominently in that type of music, and that's some of my favorite music. So any song, any video game music song that has galloping bass, I'm pretty much sold. As far as the tracks, as far as the soundtrack, it was actually composed by Noriyuki Iwadare, Masanori Hikichi, Yoshiaki Kubotera, and Isayo Mizuguchi. So actually 4 composers composed that back in 1992, all for the Genesis. And they're like all over the place in terms of their creds. I mean, one of them is kind of more of worked on games like Steel Empire, which if you like galloping bass, check out Steel Empire on the Genesis, because that is full of it. Really good soundtrack if you're looking for a shooter. It's kind of like a steampunk shooter. So sort of. It's really cool. And it's starting to get up there in price, so definitely grab it while it's still cheap. But I mean, you know, all these composers have been all over the place. Operation Wolf, Taito Chase HQ, Ys 4, Mask of the Sun, Battle Master, Terranigma, Lunar Silver Star Story. I mean, you know, the list goes on and on and on and on and on.
You were just starting to get to the games I'd actually gotten a chance to play.
Yeah, I really like the bass sound that comes out of the Sega Genesis hardware. Is like it can get really deep, and like that kind of like FM synthy like plucking sound is just such a, I don't know, it feels so good to me. Like I really like feel that sound.
Yeah, FM definitely has the best bass, the bestie bass.
Bass.
It's just something that like the Super Nintendo can't get that low. The NES can't get that low. It's like if you want a really good bass in your music, like FM's just the design of how like the sounds are made is they can widen those wavelengths so deep that you can get that really low hum.
I think it depends. I mean, if you listen to stuff like Super Castlevania 4, the bass on that is
That's pretty
incredible.
low, yeah.
That's true.
It's
I think
real,
on some
it
of
gets
those
super low.
I think on some of those SNES titles, like I think that maybe they're using more like cartridge space to have more like sample size to have
Like a richer sample, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
richer
like,
sample.
if you listen to stuff like El Viento or like Arcus Odyssey, like that type of stuff on the Genesis, Motoi Sakuraba is like a really big like bass guy, so he uses a lot of.
Yeah, we had a Motoi Sakuraba. Was it? Yeah, we had Motoi Sakuraba
because he's the
Focus.
best.
And I played like all Genesis tracks on it. It was
He's
so
in my
good.
top 3, no question.
Yeah, El Viento was an amazing soundtrack. I like
Yeah,
all
it was.
the different the different samples he would use along with everything else. But yeah, definitely great use of bass.
Did you guys end up playing Arcus Odyssey on that episode?
Nah, I'm trying to remember what I actually did with what we did choose.
You played some newer stuff. I had a lot of Arcus Odyssey was in my backups. I think I chose a few tracks.
Yeah,
from it.
that intro stage I'm like in love with right now.
I think that episode, again through Rob's end, I learned about him having done a lot more games than I'd even realized he had a part in. Because
Oh yeah.
when we came up with the topic, you know how it goes. Again, he's like one of my favorite composers, so I was already done. It's like there was no work. The tracks were picked.
No, that's how I feel about Iku Mizutani. So I hear you.
It's like that come in and Rob does his Rob thing was like, now from McDonald Hero Quest. Like, where did you find this? Who knew?
You know, there's parts of my job where there's difficult parts of my job, and then there's parts where it's just turn the brain off and just get to work. listen to soundtracks all the way through. I like that. I feel like this show has been like a kind of an excuse for me just to kind of branch out and listen to stuff that I normally wouldn't listen to, or that's how I haven't been exposed to. So let's bring this music all the way down, and we are downtown.
I'm talking downtown.
Downtown Pernell, Brown Town. That's all right.
There's a lot of down.
All right, gotta cut that out. Anyway, this is the part of the show called the bonus round.
Bonus round.
That's the best one yet.
I'm working on it.
This is the part of the show where we listen to remixes and covers based on today's theme. And I don't think I picked one from the theme. And honestly, I'm not exactly sure what part of the game my remix is from. But Ed, Mike, you brought a track to me, and it is rocking. What you got?
This one is called Cowabunga, and it's from WillRock and Sixto Sounds.
All right, and we're back. That was wow, Cowabunga by WillRock and Sixto Sounds. So that was level 4, wasn't it? From the Turtles in Time or Turtles? Which one of the Turtles?
It was Turtles in Time.
Yeah, Turtles in Time for the SNES.
Yeah, I guess that one out.
It skipped around to a couple different levels here and there, but the main theme throughout the song was a level 4 track.
For some reason, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm thinking I might have just misinterpreted or misheard. But for a split second, I thought it was the Starbase, and I was like, no, it has to be the Technodrome. But it sounds like the Starbase here for some reason.
Yeah. There was little hints of the Starbase in and out there, but then there was the Technodrome theme too. So I guess this was part of the Shell Shocked remix album that OC Remix put out. So each track that they did was like from a different level. So what a lot of the remixers did was they threw in like other parts of their favorite songs in the game along with the level that they were supposed to do.
Kind of like a mini medley.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, I was definitely a fan of it. I was grooving to it.
Yeah, once that synth lead came in, that keyboard solo, like it sounded so good with everything else. And it had that big like Turtles adventure sound.
At that moment, I knew that I regretted not having the cart anymore.
If you guys are into that, you may want to check out Sixto Sound's other stuff. He does some amazing remixes.
Is it also rock, like kind of rock style, or is it just?
Yeah, like just exactly like that. Just really high end, like crazy power metal-y, fast. Hard rockin' tunes with it's got that synth overlay at points. It's really good.
He's got some Mega Man stuff, some Final Fantasy stuff, so he kind of just puts rock spins on all those tracks.
Yeah, it's all really good stuff.
Well, you mentioned Mega Man, so that's already my cup of tea. So
That's right.
Mega fan for Mega Man.
Mega fan. That's me.
All right, so Pernell, I think you kind of reached out for something a little different for the bonus round.
Yep, and by that I mean I didn't pick a remix because it just didn't. I wanted to stick with this theme. I liked it too much, and
You had a whole bunch of tracks you showed up with, and I was like, which one? You're like, just don't worry about it.
the beautiful thing about this theme, too, is the fact that it allowed me to reach and pull out tracks from games that I don't know when we'd actually fit them into a normal episode of the show. And this particular track would be exactly that, and it's from a game that I've considered to be one of the great travesties of gaming, in that we never got any official releases in the United States. An absolute travesty, I tell you. The track itself, and to tie back to what you guys had mentioned earlier about if it was on, I think you said PC 98.
Yeah.
This game was on there.
Nice.
Princess Maker 2, Winter. I chose it because you start the game in the spring, which is, as a Japanese game, in Japanese where everything kind of starts with the spring, leading into the rest of the seasons, the birth, the beginning. Winter is the 4th season. It's the 4th season you access in the game. The number 4 is a big one.
And in the
Stuck
end,
with it.
hey, you made a princess.
I made a princess, and she kicked butt as a warrior for the kingdom. That's what she does.
All right, let's give it a spin.
welcome back. You are listening to the track from the game Princess Maker 2 for, oh my god, a lot of systems. But the system that I personally played it on was DOS.
Yeah, that's what I wrote down. It's all MS-DOS.
And it was basically developed by Gynax, of all, if you can believe it. The guys behind Neon Genesis Evangelion made a game called Princess Maker 2.
No, I didn't. That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have the composers as Masahiro Kajihara and Ryu Uemoto.
So good. This game, again, to me, is one of the great travesties of gaming because I only found out about it through a good friend back in college who found out about it on like some Wares website he went to. And like this was a game that it came out in 93. Again, Gynax developed it, and it was supposed to eventually have gotten a release because another company acquired the rights to an English release in like 95 or so. But by the time they got around to being able to release it, DOS was kind of a dead platform, and they didn't see the monetary value in even trying to release it at that point, so it just kind of went to the vapor.
Well, tell me about Princess Maker. Give me the elevator Princess Maker pitch.
Essentially, the kingdom gets attacked by a bunch of demons, and if I remember correctly, a great light comes down and smites the demons. And by doing so, the being who submitted the light goes weak and is poof.
Okay.
So a person from heaven descends with a baby and gives it to you and says, this will become the next great being, but we need you to raise it. To become, the best he or she can be. So you are tasked with raising this divine child to the age of 18 from the age of 10.
And then it's like a turn-based thing where you're putting the baby into battle and you're choosing. Like,
No. Well, you do put the baby in the battle, but initially, it's like a day-to-day sim where, she wakes up and says, "Okay, what do you want to do today? You want to go to work? Do you want to learn how to craft? You want to do all these different things, like tons of things she can become like." Mine became a barbarian, and she started.
Nice.
I sent her to battle tournaments. She beat all the other kids with swords.
That's pretty
and
awesome,
adults. Yeah. And she would go into the mountains and hunt giant condors, and cause there was an actual RPG battle system when you went on adventures.
Oh, that's cool.
But there was so much you could do in the game. You could become like a chef. You could become a botanist. You could become a warrior. She could marry the butler and run away. Like there were like 100 endings in this game. It was ridiculous. And at that time, 100 endings is unprecedented. Honestly,
it's very, very unique.
But
so it's like a really advanced Tamagotchi, basically.
Yes,
that's what it sounds like.
And I was honestly, I kid you not, I was addicted to this game. I would go to class. I would come home, check on my kid. Oh man, that's my girl. She won the tournament. Daddy trained you well. I was like really into this game. And then my other friend, the one who told me about it, Mike, he was playing it too. So we were comparing our kids. So I was like, my kid's a better cook than your kid. Take your kid to school, man. Come back and show me when she's a real chef.
How many? So this was the second one. Do you know if there were any others?
I believe there was a total of 5, but none of them actually got a shot at US but 2. Which, again, is a shame because I think the 5th one actually came out on, something as late as maybe the PS3.
Yeah, well, it sounds very Japanese, and at a time when a lot of very Japanese things weren't coming overseas.
Yeah, for 2 at least. Yeah. But you figure, by the time 5 came out, we were getting all kinds of wacky crap from Japan. So it was like, the floodgates were down.
Ready to go.
There's nothing they've got over there that we can't handle anymore, I don't think. I think we're pretty much
Regarding the song, I don't know, maybe I was the only one that was waiting for Boys to Men to come in to start singing.
I'm gonna raise your child.
I was telling him, I was like, we're picking all these fun summer tracks. And he picks the winter track. But you're right. This is like a slow summer jam, then. We can go with that.
No summer! I'm telling you. Rob said that over here, too. He's like, it's a summer track. Like, no! Don't you see it? She's wearing mittens. She's got her coat on. The snow's coming down. Daddy, give me some cocoa.
And there's 4 boys down the hall, and they want to sing to her.
They want to become men, and they only do it in one way. With vocals.
Gotcha. Good.
Yes.
We'll go with that.
We'll go with that. All right. We're going to come out of this then. is taking a turn. We're going to I found a remix from Toejam and Earl by J.Rabbit, and that's all it's called, the Toejam and Earl remix.
Jam on it.
That was the Toejam and Earl remix by the artist J.Rabbit. So, yeah, there you go. I just have like kind of a whole bunch of SoundCloud artists and tracks that I've liked over the years that I've been on there, and then just I kind of reach into the bucket of remixes that I liked, and this is one of the ones I've been wanting to put on the show for a while.
Reach into the J.Rabbit hat.
The J-Rabbit. Oh.
Pull out a rabbit, a J-Rabbit.
Ayo.
And also, you can't...
Hip and the hip hop, the bop, the J-Rabbit, don't stop.
You can't go wrong with Toejam and Earl, and it kind of kept in my Genesis theme for the day.
That was great, man. That throaty bass just got me. It really actually kind of reminded me of the first Joshua Morse remix you guys did on the last episode from Vlad 2.
Yeah, I guess I'm really on that kind of kick right now, because that's been like kind of not leaving my car for the whole week, just pumping up Castlevania tracks.
For some reason, the thing that got me the most about that track was just the chomping.
Oh, it was kind of like, it sounded like a big like wow, wow, wow,
like dentures.
I'm a big sucker for samples in terms of like sound vocal samples. Mm-hmm. So whenever any kind of artist like that throws in like little samples from the game, like Skrillex when he did the Mortal Kombat, like the fight, like that type of stuff. Yeah. I love that stuff. It's a nice throwback to the original. but at the same time, it keeps it fresh and unique.
Yeah, what was great was that even he didn't just throw in the little vocal samples. Like he also kept some of the same like melody and everything from the game, which I really appreciated. I think a lot of times a lot of remix artists kind of go off and just do their own thing, and then just kind of throw in maybe parts of like game music in like a bridge or like in a breakdown of a song. And I'm like, come on.
If you want to do your own thing, do your own thing. But if you want to do a remix, keep it at least like 75%. In with the original song.
Yeah, there's a lot more you can do with it, and or of course they could argue that if I wanted to listen to Toejam and Earl, I should just go listen to Toejam and Earl. But
they would be wrong.
They would be wrong because that was banging.
Have you guys heard any of John Baker's stuff for the Sega remixes that he did, like the classic like smooth jazz stuff that he did? It's like all funk and stuff like that. It's really good. It's all Toejam and Earl tracks.
Ooh. No, I haven't. I think one of our friends, Matt, is really into that kind of like jazzy sound. He might know about that. So
it's really good. Check it out.
Damn, because I wouldn't.
Yeah, I just wrote that down. It's a John Baker.
John Baker, did the. I believe John Baker was the composer of Toejam and Earl, but he definitely did the jazz versions, and they're all like really good. They're like jazz funk, if you will.
Cool. All right, well, for more information on the artists and bands covered on the bonus round portion of the show, check out the website, rhythmandpixels.com. I want to thank you for joining us today on episode 4-1 of Rhythm and Pixels. And we want to thank our guests, the Pixel Tunes Radio. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us on, man. It was a great time.
It was a lot of fun. And we learned that we have much in common. Much bonding has been done today, I have to say.
Yeah, I really enjoy your guys' show. I'm going to see if I can get Pernell listening to podcasts.
It's going to happen.
I don't think he really does. But can you give us some information on how people can find your show?
Sure, you can head over to pixeltunesradio.com. That's where we have our blog roll and put all of our stuff. Or catch us on Twitter at pixeltunesradio.
You can also check us out at youtube.com/dongled, or if you just go to YouTube and type in Pixeltunes, one word, and then the second word radio, that's really the best way to find our podcast, and of course on iTunes as well.
Very cool. And do you guys have any other projects or any other things that you're working on that you want to plug while you're all here?
Yeah, sure. I do a show on that same YouTube channel called Dude, You Haven't Played This Game. It's a video game review show. It's skit-based, so it's kind of like Angry Video Game Nerd mixed with like Happy Video Game Nerd mixed with like some of the stuff that Clan of the Grey Wolf does.
Like schizophrenic video game nerd.
Indifferent video game nerd.
Yeah. I like to call it's informative and adult and educated, but also very silly and goofy and slapsticky as well. So it's something for the best of both worlds. And Ed does a side podcast as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we mentioned it at the beginning of the show, but Impulse Project, my demo scene podcast with Brian, who also does pixelated audio. And you can find us at Pixelate. You can find us at, I'm getting them all mixed up. At impulseproject.info is where you can find more info on that show.
All right, great. Thank you. And,
Thank you.
Yeah, and so when this show comes out, Pernell will be back from the Too Many Games convention in the greater Philadelphia area after performing the Pernell and Matt Play Games live. So we can pretend like it just happened. Pernell, that was excellent.
It was, right?
I saw it in the paper. Like everyone was writing about it.
It was on CNN.
Yeah.
When we left the room, it exploded behind us because that's how awesome it was. It couldn't contain it anymore once we walked out.
I don't know, how did you guys get coverage on ESPN?
Well, you see, that all began once we got our Space Hoops event going on.
Right.
Matt started talking some smack, and I had to, I had to take on the challenge. I couldn't just turn him down.
Had like a Space Jam situation.
Oh, it was a Space Jam.
Just broke right out.
Oh yeah, and then while we were playing, of course, some unexpected spectators were partaking of our game, and then they kind of beamed down, and they decided that they wanted to choose us as space battle ambassadors for the fate of the greater northeastern Pennsylvania area. So it was the fate of hundreds rested on our shoulders. So we kind of
literally tens and tens of people.
Yes, we had to take them to the streets, the space streets. And boy, let me tell you, it was a sight to behold. I mean, I had the ball going through between my legs. I'm talking Matt spun it on his finger.
Yo, Matt can ball.
He can ball. I'm talking. He picked the ball up and he put it down. It was insane.
Yeah.
They couldn't handle it.
I've seen that man actually hold the ball before. That's pretty great.
He did. People didn't understand how to react to the majesty that was Matt holding a basketball.
Well,
it was the stuff of legends.
Aside from the Space Jam scenario, I cannot wait to hear about the show.
Me too, because I admit I am quite nervous. There's not much of a spoiler now to talk about it, because by the time people hear this, it'll be over. But the intent is that we're going to go on and essentially, Pernell and Matt Play Games is a show where we just kind of play games and we banter about them while we do and just kind of have a good time. So their goal is we're going to go in, we're going to introduce ourselves, and we're going to have like kind of a versus-a-thon where it's like we choose members of the audience and we will battle on their behalf for gift cards. The winner gets a gift card, and the loser gets to mock the person who played on their behalf.
Get slimed.
It's all gross.
No, I think that sounds really exciting.
And then when we play, I think it's like 2 or 3 games we kind of shuffle through. We're going to play Mega Man Unlimited as our. This is a very frustrating game. Let's see if they can actually do well at it, and hopefully we'll have enough fun banter to keep people entertained while we play, and hopefully it'll just be enjoyable.
Cool. Well, check out Pernell and Matt Play Games on YouTube, youtube.com/Pernell and Matt Play Games. Probably? Is that right?
Probably.
Probably.
Yes.
You're going to say yes. All right, cool. We'll have the links to that on our website and on our Facebook. So if you want to get more information about the show and full track listing, check out the website.
rhythmandpixels.com.
And if you want to let us know how we're doing, if you have anything you want to say to us, contact us at our email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
If you like what you're hearing and you want to hear more every Monday, hit that subscribe button on iTunes or Stitcher or Pod Blaster, Last.fm. Wherever you're getting your podcasts, you'll probably find us there. Hit the subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. And we're on Facebook, facebook.com/rhythmandpixels, and we're also on Twitter @rhythmandpixels.
Hit us with some comments, hit us with some ratings. Let us know what you think and what you want to hear, because quite frankly, I have a big mouth and I want to talk.
Yeah, we are very open to any kind of suggestions. We'll create some kind of crazy topic around it, and every week we'll just get down.
Yeah, that's right. I'm talking Jitterbug, Charleston, flagpoles, shuffle, everything.
Yeah, the flagpole shuffle kind of ruined my floor, so not that next time. All right, so again, thanks guys from Pixel Tunes Radio. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, and we'd love to have you guys on our show in the near future.
Oh, I'd be game, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll figure it out, and
Awesome.
we'll do it over email. We'll figure all that out. So, my name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
Thanks for listening.
Good night. And as you heard this episode, as fun as it was, as it usually is with the two of us, it's even better with friends. 4 made it fun. So by all means, reach out to your friends and your companions. Bond. Create together. Because greatness comes better when more heads come together.